Dozens of wounded warriors who lost limbs in Iraq and Afghanistan have a new way to get around, and their new wheels come courtesy of the program SEGS4VETS.
It was April 8th, Easter Sunday.
4 days before he turned 27.
Before anybody even got to me to give me medical aid, I said, my ears were ringing, and I said, FML, F my life.
Staff Sergeant Alejandro Juregi had just stepped on an IED while on patrol in Afghanistan.
I believe I still had part of my left leg, but it was just hanging by a thread. I still had my fingers. They were dangling, basically. Like, I have a big hole that was about that big on my leg, and that one's still healing. And then on this leg, I have this right here, which is also another big gash. And then my hearing. I lost, they said 78% of my right ear and 63% of my left ear.
It was 2 years earlier, almost to the day, that Sergeant Jared Lemon had just helped his buddy over a wall in Afghanistan when the IED went off.
My initial injury, I took a chunk of steel. My buddy said he took a chunk of steel out of my arm. It was like that. And it hit my bone, which basically just shredded it. They tried saving my arm, and most of my bicep was gone, my whole tricep was gone, and my forearm was like shredded. They cut out some veins in my leg to repair arteries in my arm before they cut it off. And doing that ended up cutting a nerve in my foot, so like half my foot is numb.
Together, they've lost 2 legs and an arm. That's the number of limbs Corporal Mark Latinsky lost when he stepped on an IED in Afghanistan.
I lost both my legs above the knees and my left arm above the elbow.
And for this young Marine who was very active in a number of sports, it's in many ways like starting over.
Gradually getting more and more of that back. You just figure out new ways of doing it and get different tools.
Like Sergeant Lemon, he's hoping his latest tool, the Segway, will help him regain some mobility safely.
Going down any grade, but especially steep grades on prosthetics, is very hazardous. It's very easy to fall. So with the Segway, it'll alleviate the potential risk of getting hurt.
Most of these guys can stand, they can walk for short distances, but on a Segway they can go much longer distances than they would otherwise go.
Together, these wounded warriors, along with 53 others, received their very own Segways in Washington, D.C.
I'm very disabled, and yet when I stand here, most people don't notice it.
Another fan of the Segway is SEGS4VETS President Jerry Kerr.
We tell them that we're real proud of them and we're sorry about what happened to them, but we really don't feel sorry for them because they have an opportunity to regain their life and be a participant, an active participant in their family.
For 7 years, he's chosen to give Segways because he's found no other tool that can react to the body and allow him to stand in a way that doesn't draw attention to his disability.
When you're in a wheelchair, people look down on you, and when you look out, you see the rear end of someone else. And, wheelchair is not a bad thing. It's a great tool, wonderful tool. But if you can stand, there's a better tool. And it's not necessarily easier, but it's better.
The Segway, it does it all for you. You just stand straight up and it does the rest.
The Allied chair, a different kind of Segway, is in testing mode for those who won't be able to use prosthetics. Sergeant Juregi says he's loving it, although he'll get the traditional Segway once he's fitted with prosthetics.
With the wheelchair, a lot of times I have to back up into the elevators. Or with this, obviously I won't have to do that anymore.
So it can go into a bathroom and turn around. It can go on terrain, just like a Segway can. So it can go across the grass. It can turn around on itself. It can go through doorways.
Many of those who receive Segways return as volunteers to help train new recipients or serve in other capacities.
And it speaks to how important it is, how important the lives of these men and women are to us.
We as volunteers get our rewards from seeing the smiles on their faces and seeing them get back on their feet.
Nervous in the very beginning, but quickly warmed up to it and it became very natural.
With the numb foot and stuff, it helped a lot with that.
I think this is awesome. I love this wheelchair. I wish I had them at the hospital.
Well, spouses are also trained on the Segways so they can help their loved ones if necessary. Dozens more Segways have already been presented in other parts of the country, and nearly 1,000 have been given out since the program began in 2006. SEGS4VETS is a program of the nonprofit organization DRAFT, which is Disability Rights Advocates for Technology.